Enzo Maresca hacked the 2024-25 season with Chelsea, and he's ready to do it again. Only this time, there's a plot twist.
João Pedro, it's 3, and Chelsea are running away with the FIFA Club World Cup final.
For the first time since 2021 to 2022 season, the Blues finished in the top 4 of the Premier League, locking in a Champions League spot with 69 points. They also lifted 2 trophies, the Conference League.
Cross to Jadon Sancho. Sancho strike! Magnificent goal!
And the Club World Cup.
I'm high on the plan. Clearly, he's onto something, and he has serious potential to win silverware, much more than he already has. I mean, he's won 2 international trophies in the span of a month. That's something, right? One that was much easier, I guess, than the other one, which is Conference League.
But now Maresca's team has a new goal: win the Premier League and the Champions League. What's wild is Chelsea wasn't even supposed to be a title contender yet.
You don't see any team in any big league that is top or near the top of the table with a terrible defense. You just don't. And for me, that is the most important thing that Maresca's done as far as being able to make them competitive.
Under the Italian coach, this team was supposed to be rebuilding, but after scoring tons of goals, delivering insane performances and building one of the scariest tactical systems in Europe, it's clear Chelsea's not just back, they're ready to win it all. Last season, something started brewing at Stamford Bridge. Something serious. Enzo Maresca didn't just walk into chaos in Gormy, he walked into a football jungle. Chelsea was overloaded with talent but had no direction, no identity, no pulse.
You can mix and match all day here. There's a plethora of options, but at one point, if you're Maresca, right, you can't have this many people on your team sheet because a lot of these guys must already be talking. How we're chirping from the inside, a lot of people might not be comfortable with their situations. But having the prowess to control, manage, and understand the group. How the hell do you understand this?
A team stuck in the fog, unsure of who they were or what they stood for. But Maresca had a plan. From day one, he brought in a blueprint, a tactical identity that turned mess into momentum. He didn't hide, he went public and admitted it.
No, I said that we are ahead where we expected to be today, but not in terms of results, in terms of the way the team is progressing and is playing. Then, in terms of results, I still think that we are far from this kind of teams, clubs, like I said many times, City, Arsenal, because we need to learn many things, we need to improve many things, attacking better, defending better, but the important thing is the feeling that we have in this moment that we are going in that direction. This is very important.
But then he went to work. He squeezed the best out of the tools he had. He gave Chelsea shape, he gave them rhythm, and little by little the team started to look different.
Because of winning Conference League, winning helps, winning is contagious. And then to do it like this, it's like all the credibility that they lacked for like 3 months at the beginning of 2025, they recouped in a month.
More aggressive, more intelligent, more united.
Now, I think it was actually very frank and honest in November when he made those statements. He kept on winning, by the way, after he said that.
By the way, it was 8 all-comp straight wins after he made those comments.
Then he doubled down in December, and that's when the Chelsea slump started, and they essentially were out of the title race in a month and a bit, right? So maybe he was trying to anchor himself in realism, and ultimately it paid dividends on the backside because he understood the limits of his squad.
Now, this is a Chelsea that presses hard, counterattacks with venom, and executes transitions like a machine. They hunt in packs, break with speed, and play with conviction. What Maresca has built isn't just structure, it's a storm, and it's coming for everyone. Everything starts with Maresca's 4-2-3-1, but this isn't your average setup. This is tactical chess, and every piece has a purpose. Let's start with Cole Palmer. He's no longer stuck on the wing. Under Maresca, he's moved into a more central role, floating between the lines, connecting the midfield with the attack, pulling defenders out of position with that smooth control and killer vision. He's the glue, the pulse, the guy who makes everything flow. Maresca saw something others didn't. He pulled Palmer off the wing and dropped him right into the heart of the pitch, owning the middle and right side, like it was his personal playground. From there, Palmer became more than just a winger. He became the engine of the Chelsea attack. Now he can drop deep to build the play, or slide into the half spaces to whip in killer passes. He controls the tempo, pulls strings like a puppet master, and delivers that final touch with insane precision. And it worked, big time.
So the idea was to move him from the right pocket to the left pocket, and in that game works quite well. So the reason why is just to try to give Cole more space, because we know that if we are able to contact with him.
Just as guilty as one another. Sancho, here's Palmer looking for his fourth. How's he done that?
In the 2023 to 2024 season, Palmer put up 37 goals and 19 assists. Let that sink in. He went from a promising talent to one of the most explosive forces in the entire Premier League. And it wasn't luck, it was the result of Maresca's vision, reshaping his role, giving him the freedom to dominate from the centre.
Football needs him. It needs players like him. In a day and age where the game has got a little bit robotic, where players will keep it simple, you don't see too many players, too many mavericks, if you like, that we saw throughout many years. It needs someone like Cole Palmer that just does things differently.
On the flanks, Malo Gusto, Cucurella and Reece James don't play like traditional fullbacks. They invert into midfield, sliding in to give Chelsea control in tight spaces. But when the moment's right, they explode down the wing, taking advantage of the space Palmer leaves behind. It's hybrid football, half defender, half winger. Fully dangerous.
In our case, because in this moment we found two proper old midfielder, probably we don't need to bring fullback inside here. So because we keep them in that position and we move in the pocket attacking midfielder. Also moving from here to there, also you can a little bit surprise this player, because especially in this game we contact with the Malo arriving from here and he was watching the action in this side, so he came from this side and surprised a little bit.
Then there's Enzo Fernandez and Moises Caicedo, who are mastering the art of repositioning. Enzo, he pushes higher up, almost like an attacking midfielder, reading the game like a seasoned chess master. Caicedo, he's the anchor. He shifts slightly to the right, giving Gusto space to invert and dominate that zone. And when the roles flip, when Cucurella tucks inside from the left, Caicedo holds his ground while Enzo floats forward. This system isn't rigid, it's alive. It adapts. It creates overloads on one side, forcing the opponent to collapse, just so Chelsea can switch and find Palmer wide open in that deadly right channel. With the kind of talent Enzo Maresca has at his disposal, switching to a 3 at the back system when attacking was almost inevitable. It's a setup built to hurt you. Wide players like Pedro Neto, Noni Madueke before his move to Arsenal, and Jadon Sancho during his loan spell give this Chelsea team raw pace and danger down the flanks. They stretch the pitch to the max, forcing defenders to stay wide, while Cole Palmer, the ultimate connector, uses his elite passing to thread balls to either side, setting those wingers loose behind the backline. Maresca's system is clever. He leaves one man free in midfield, drawing defenders just enough to open up space behind them. This allows Chelsea to make third-line passes that slice through the opponent's setup, feeding the wingers in motion or hitting central runners with perfect timing. To unlock that chaos even further, the centre-forward drops into midfield, dragging a centre-back with him. That opens massive holes between the lines, perfect for Palmer or one of the attacking midfielders to burst through, while the wingers hold their width and wait for the kill shot. And then there's João Pedro. He showed exactly what he brings in the Club World Cup final against PSG. His movement was deadly, diagonal runs to pull defenders away, perfectly timed sprints into space for through balls, and constant pressure on the PSG backline. He created lanes not just for himself, but for second-line attackers like Palmer, who found clear paths to shoot or assist, thanks to João Pedro's chaos-making up front.
It's a Chelsea team that might well be blossoming. João Pedro, Cole Palmer! Cole Palmer exploiting that space again. Now, what a trick from Palmer! Super!
Enzo Maresca has made one thing crystal clear. He knows exactly what he wants from his Chelsea team, and the players have responded fast. You can already see his vision taking shape on the pitch, like clockwork. The back three build out from the back with short, sharp passes, linking up with the fullbacks and midfielders. The double pivot is well defined. Caicedo is the anchor, the one who holds everything together, while Enzo Fernandez pushes higher, often acting like an extra attacking midfielder. Meanwhile, Marc Cucurella and either Malo Gusto or Reece James operate like hybrid fullbacks and midfielders. They pop up in central zones, but also take over the entire wing when needed. They're constantly shifting, constantly reading the play. At the heart of it all is Cole Palmer, who's now playing a more central role. Sometimes he feels like a number, 10, sometimes like a striker. He drifts into goal-scoring positions and takes full advantage of his clinical finishing. Up top, the striker moves like a false 9, dropping deep to connect play, but he also shifts into a classic number 9th role when it's time to finish. The wingers? They stay wide to stretch the defence, but They're constantly cutting inside too, making sure every single defensive lane is occupied. It's movement with a purpose. What's wild is how this team can switch gears instantly. They can press high and win the ball up the pitch in seconds, or they can drop into a compact, low block and control space with discipline. Then, when they get the ball, they can either explode into quick transitions or hold possession and pick you apart with their technical brilliance. This isn't just a strong Chelsea team, this is total football in blue.
There's a lot of potential. I don't want to crown Chelsea Premier League champions yet. I think in this very hot takey age, we do that often. But what I'm seeing is that Chelsea has a lot of potential and a lot of credibility and a lot of belief in their project to be able to be a serious competitor to win the Premier League and any title that they're vying.
Chelsea already had a dangerous attack last season, but now everything runs through one man, the coldest player in football right now.
Hi, I'm Cole Palmer.
This guy has silenced doubters and embarrassed defences across England. Since arriving at Stamford Bridge, Palmer has become Chelsea's most important attacking force.
Last season, I was a little bit reticent to say he was the best player in the Premier League. I actually felt he was, but the fact Chelsea hadn't had such a great season, and I ended up going for Foden, just above him, and most people thought the same because Foden got, I think, the 2 Player of the Year awards, but inside me, I felt like he was the best player in the Premier League. And on the back of last season and this season, if he carries on this again through this season, I think he's the best player in the Premier League, I do.
In his debut season, he scored 27 goals and delivered 15 assists, and if anyone thought that was a fluke, he followed it up with 18 goals and 14 assists in his second year. That's not just good, it's top-tier, elite-level production. And the most impressive thing, Palmer can play anywhere across the front line and still perform like a star. Whether you put him on the right wing, behind the striker, as a false nine, or even deeper to build attacks from the midfield, he always finds a way to make a difference. He dribbles past defenders, makes clever runs, times his movements perfectly, and, most of all, he scores goals, lots of them. But what makes Palmer special isn't just the numbers, it's how unpredictable he is. On paper, he's a classic number, 10, but if you look at his heat map, he's never in the usual playmaker zones. He drops deep, finds space where no one's watching, and then releases killer passes that open up defences. It's like he's playing a different game, and always thinking 2 steps ahead. But here's where things get scary. The connection between Cole Palmer and João Pedro is absolutely terrifying.
I mean, look what they showed us in such a short sample size. And I think that they're very self-aware of what their strengths are and what their weaknesses could be, right? Because João Pedro, when he comes in, the link-up play, the ability to drop in, Cole Palmer's able to find these passes, the runs in behind, and the understanding that Cole Palmer wants to cut in and Gusto could go over on the right side. That usually takes time. That chemistry takes time to build. But when you've got smart players, when you've got players that are able to connect, they could put something together to beat what was the best team in the world in PSG and unlock them in a way that we saw very few teams in Europe do. So everything has shown me in this Club World Cup that is the duo to go forward next season. And can you imagine with the other pieces that they're going to add how good this duo could get?
When João Pedro arrived at Chelsea, it felt like a quiet signing. Just 23 years old, 13 goals and 7 assists last season in the Premier League. Solid numbers, but nothing too wild. Until he stepped on the pitch with Palmer. From the moment he joined, right in the middle of the Club World Cup, he made waves. Second game in, bang. 2 goals against Fluminense, sending Chelsea to the final and lighting up social media. But it wasn't just about the goals, it was how he moved, how he read the game, how he connected with Palmer like they'd been teammates for years. João Pedro isn't just a striker, he's a weapon of pure versatility. He can drift out wide, drop deep, push forward. Whatever the game needs, he adapts. He links up beautifully with Palmer, pulling defenders out of position, opening space and creating chaos in the final third. He's the kind of player who knows when to pass, when to shoot and when to hold the ball, and he does it all with calm precision. He's got that killer instinct in front of goal, but he's not selfish, he's not chasing stats. He's making the team better. That's what makes him dangerous. João Pedro is like a Swiss Army knife in attack. Left wing? No problem. False 9? Easy. Traditional striker? He'll do the dirty work and make it count. He might not be a physical bulldozer like Haaland, but his timing is elite. He knows when to crash the box, when to drop into the pocket, and when to ghost past defenders unnoticed. And now Montique, with Cole Palmer feeding him balls in perfect rhythm, Chelsea might just have the most complete attacking duo in England.
What I saw the most was the way that João Pedro occupies defenders.
Let's start with Pedro Neto. This guy's chaos in human form. He's lightning fast, can play on either wing, and just had an amazing run in the Club World Cup. 9 goals and 9 assists across all competitions last season? Solid. But that doesn't even tell the whole story. He's got everything. Thunderbolt shots from distance, finesse finishes up close, pinpoint crosses, and a filthy ability to cut inside and shred defenders. This season alone, Neto completed 681 successful dribbles. That's insane. These aren't just highlight reel moves, they're proof that defenders hate facing him. Add 76 progressive carries into the mix, and you've got a winger who slices through lines like a hot knife through butter. Neto keeps defenders on skates, and once he gets going, there's no stopping him. Then there's Estevao, the Brazilian wonder kid everyone's been whispering about. He's got that special sauce, silky dribbling, killer instincts in front of goal, and the kind of creativity that makes you lean forward in your seats. Sure, he's not a starter yet. He still needs time to adapt to the physical demands of the Premier League. But once he finds his rhythm, it's game over. The kid's going to be terrifying. And let's not forget Liam Delap, one of the most surprising breakout stars heading into the new season. Last year, he scored 12 of Ipswich Town's 36 total league goals. That's a third of the entire team's output. He's built like an old school number, 9 but plays with the aggression and drive of a modern striker. Think Victor Gyökeres, a bulldozer with a brain. He bullies defenders, holds the ball up, powers through challenges, and has a rocket of a shot. Left foot, right foot. He's lethal from anywhere around the box. But Delap isn't just a battering ram, he's smart. He drops deep to help build attacks, connects with teammates, and makes the right decision more often than not. He's not a project, he's a weapon, ready to explode in the Premier League. Of course there's Nicholas Jackson, who's had some bright moments this season. He's helped the team, no doubt. But the truth is, he's not exactly Maresca's guy. Jackson came in during the Pochettino era, and with all the new signings up front, it's hard to see him getting many minutes, especially when you've got options like Marc Guiu or even Nkunku, who can rotate into the front line. But here's where things get scary, and not in a bad way. Scary because Chelsea's midfield is so loaded with talent, it almost feels unfair. Let's start with Moises Caicedo. The guy's been a machine. He's the only Chelsea player to start all 35 Premier League matches this season. That alone says a lot. But it's not just about showing up, it's about how he plays. Ferocious tackling, relentless energy, and smart decision making. Caicedo might not be the flashiest player with the ball at his feet, but he's the glue that holds Maresca's team together. He reads the game like a veteran, steps up to win tackles at the perfect moment, jumps into passing lanes and instantly turns defense into counter-attack. Think of him as a new age N'Golo Kante, popping up everywhere, cleaning up messes, putting out fires. Last season, he averaged 6 ball recoveries per match, along with 3 tackles and 1.3 interceptions. That's pure midfield dominance. Now, if Caicedo is the shield, then Enzo Fernandez is the sword. The Argentine isn't just a deep-lying playmaker. He thrives when he pushes higher up the pitch. That's where Maresca unlocked his full potential. Fernandez finished the season with 17 assists and 9 goals across all competitions. Long-range shots, threaded passes, he's got it all. And with more freedom to roam, Enzo has become one of the most complete midfielders in Europe. Sima. He has a real eye for goal and all the technique he needs to find it on a relatively regular basis. But even with Caicedo breaking plays and Enzo creating them, Maresca still wants more. He wants one last piece, one more magician for the final third, and that's why Chelsea are pushing hard to sign Xavi Simons. The 22-year-old Dutch playmaker is everything Maresca loves: versatile, technical, fearless. Whether as a left winger or an attacking midfielder, he delivers. 11 goals and 8 assists this season show that he's not just promise, he's production. Chelsea are reportedly willing to pay €60 million to bring him in. Why? Because he adds something Chelsea still need: midfield control in high-pressure moments. But even the most powerful squads have their cracks. For Chelsea, the issue isn't about talent, it's about depth and durability. Let's start with the midfield again. It's stacked, no doubt, but the club has had its fair share of setbacks. Romeo Lavia, for example, one of Chelsea's most promising holding midfielders, barely played this season due to recurring injuries. His physical condition became a constant concern, and Maresca couldn't rely on him to be available week in, week out. Behind him, Chelsea has a ton of rotation options: Dario Esugo, Andre Santos, Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, Kellyman, and the exciting Kendry Paez, who's more of an attacking playmaker. The talent is real, but the question is, can they step up when it truly matters? Most of them are still young, still adapting, and still learning what it takes to control a Premier League midfield. Then comes the backline. Levi Colwill has been a revelation, one of the best young centre-backs in Europe when it comes to building out from the back. Trevoh Chalobah has also grown into a solid piece of Maresca's puzzle. On the flanks, Malo Gusto and Reece James offer great versatility and speed on the right, while Marc Cucurella has been a warrior on the left. But there's a problem, a big one. Cucurella has played almost everything this season. Every minute, every match, every challenge. And there's no true backup for him. Chelsea are dangerously thin on the left side of their defence. And if he breaks down or just needs rest, there's a void no one is ready to fill. That's why Maresca has his eyes set on Jorel Hato. The 19-year-old Ajax prodigy has been turning heads in the Eredivisie. Despite his age, he's already made 111 senior appearances. That's elite-level experience for someone who can't even order a beer in the US yet. Chelsea are reportedly offering 35 million euros, which, for a player of his ceiling, feels like robbery. Hato is a freak athlete, left-footed, fast, smart and fearless. He can play as a left centre-back, or even as a full-on left-back. He drives up the flank like a winger, whips in dangerous crosses and isn't afraid to shoot. He reads the game like a veteran and makes crucial blocks and interceptions that launch Chelsea's deadly counter-attacks. 62 matches, 96 goals. That's the Chelsea we're talking about. Under Enzo Maresca, the Blues didn't just wake up, they exploded. They became the second highest team in terms of shots on target in the entire Premier League, just behind Liverpool, 218 shots on target. That's 5.7 per match, every single game raining pressure on opponents' goalkeepers. And they weren't just random strikes. 53 goals came from inside the box, showcasing how well this team moves the ball into dangerous zones. But 11 more came from outside the area. Absolute rockets, curling screamers, and cold-blooded finishes that silence stadiums. This is a team that can score in every way imaginable. What's even scarier is how they've become this dangerous. Enzo Maresca has taken a group of young, hungry players, many of whom still have years before they reach their peak, and moulded them into a structured, lethal machine. The average age of this squad is between 22 and 24. This is one of the youngest elite squads in all of Europe. Sure, Chelsea spent a fortune building this team, billion-level spending, but now for the first time in years, the pieces are actually clicking. That's what Maresca has brought to the table, balance. The board is no longer just throwing cash in players like Mudryk. They're choosing wisely. They're signing players who can work as a unit, contribute both offensively and defensively, and understand the bigger picture. Players who don't fit that system, they're being moved on. This version of Chelsea is more clear, more structured, more dangerous. They've become a hybrid machine. They know how to press high, defend deep, dominate possession, and transition at lightning speed. And most importantly, they know exactly what they're doing. Maresca is slowly building a positional football empire. Every player, striker, winger, midfielder, defender, knows their zone, their timing, their function. They know where to be to stretch defences, open lanes, and create overloads. And when the ball reaches the final third, they swarm like a synchronised strike force. The additions of João Pedro and Estevão aren't just exciting transfers, they're tactical upgrades. They open up the field, they create chaos, and that chaos frees up Palmer, Enzo Fernandez, and whoever's charging in from deep to deliver the final blow. With Xavi Simons and Jorel Hato on the horizon, this Chelsea is evolving into something terrifying. A team full of youth, clarity, and hunger. A system built for domination, a coach who knows how to unlock each player's strengths, and maybe, just maybe, a team that's ready to conquer everything.